Also, the thing about my friend who didn't trust me uh, and quit in the middle of hanging out with me. Um, he was on staff and he left, uh, walked out, um, and it raised a lot of questions that I think people would have. And the questions are really about you and your own actions. There's one that I think is really relevant, uh, that people often say, um, well, it had served its purpose. You know, I manifested this person, let's say me. Like I was telling you, I'm maybe the most important thing you've ever manifested. And you may agree with that, and you may say, yes, I had learned how to cure things from Bayard. Um, but, I don't need to be associated with him anymore because it served its purpose. And for them, see, we're going to dig into cure more later. Like right now, we're just looking at cure from the standpoint of that you manifested yourself a cure for just about anything you've got. Here I am, and I am not a healer. You're the cure, and since you're the cure, it sounds very much like, that scene in Lawrence of Arabia where one of them says, well, if you give them artillery, you've made them independent. And Allenby says, well, then I can't give them artillery, can I? And what I did with you was I gave you the cure, you know. So it's very likely that you can say, well, Bayard served his purpose. He gave me the cure. I don't need him anymore. Which then later turns into, well, I cured it, so I don't need to cure anything anymore. And then it comes back and you say, oh, well, I guess that didn't work. And it completely evaluates it, and you got nothing. That's what you end up with that. You manifest something that's really great, really exceptional. You better respect it. And this is what I learned about Franny and my relationship with Franny, is that, a long, long time ago, probably 30 years ago, I had an epiphany. I realized something. Whoever has Franny wins. Nothing else matters. Franny creates winners. Nothing else matters. She is the piece on the chessboard that matters. And you know how in a chess game, and Franny is really more like the king than the queen in a chess game. Franny, like how a king can move and capture, but only one square in any direction. So it doesn't look very powerful. The queen looks much more powerful, but it isn't, because the king is the whole game. If you got your king, you're still alive. If you don't have it, you're dead. So this was my epiphany, that I manifested Franny in this lifetime. She was the thing that I manifested. That was my talisman, my ticket to glory, my way of winning at anything. And you may already have somebody like that. So when I come along, and you see, it's actually true that I may come along and contribute something to you that's an essential piece that you didn't have, that makes all the difference for you. But you have this other person who, if you stick with that person, you win. And so, all this applies to that. That's all I can say about it, really. What I've noticed is most people have nothing. Like, I have another friend who used to be one of my volunteers, and he has a lot of good friends, and he's found things that he loves and enjoys to do, and he has people who take care of him and protect him, and with all that, none of them ever even came close to me. But he simply, I'm sorry to say, because I observe him, and he just he hadn't attained a level of development where he was able to access me for what I was able to do for him. He just couldn't. He just didn't have it. And for my part, I was an inadequate teacher to get him to the point where he could. I always thought I could do that, but for everybody. But the truth was, back when I was teaching my courses, I just wasn't good enough to bring most people to the place they needed to get to save themselves. See, there's a place where, like, if somebody is adrift on a raft and you pull your tanker up near them and you throw them a lifeline and so on, you're getting them to the point where they can drag themselves out of the problem, and with everything I did for people, I wasn't able to get most of them there. And maybe some of them I got there and didn't realize it. And I guess they just didn't know how to access me, how to unpack me. Too bad, because I really wanted to do that, but I suppose I failed most people. I've been watching this TV series called Three Body Problem. It's a book adaptation, actually. It was a bestseller. And there's one point where this woman is told that she failed her daughter, and her reply is, "I failed more people than anyone ever." For further explanation of that, watch the series. Oh, man. So, I am glad that I had this opportunity to, express my feelings over my failure to, give this to people. And of course, this book is another attempt. I'll never quit. Never quit. Just keep going forward. That's what I do. as I got older, I realized I had to alter my diet. And here's another manifesting story. So I manifested, for one thing, I manifested the internet, which has served a lot of purposes, and I manifested somebody putting movies about intermittent fasting on the internet, which I have been doing since 1968. So of course this resonated with me, and I decided I would, hear more of them and see if it expanded. And sure enough, I got a movie by a guy named Eric Berg. He's a chiropractor. And he explains just volumes of stuff. Like yesterday, I found a movie he made about hyaluronic acid. Well, I've been using hyaluronic acid for years. He was talking about people in a village that eat a potato that's very high in hyaluronic acid. I bought the potatoes. I make things with those potatoes. I mean, I was just, I am such a imagine manifesting a place where I could get the things that the people in this remote Japanese village eat. But of course, they're famous now, so, that food is all over, and it always was. Everybody ate taro root, not here in the U.S., but we are notorious for eating the worst food in the world and having the worst diet in the world. So when you live in the United States, if you want to be healthy, you're really going to have to put on your manifesting hat. Manifest yourself a good sushi chef, because around here, I don't know if there is one. Anyway, I don't need one. I'm a good sushi chef. I manifested that too. I'll just give you a tip, okay? If you find yourself in the presence of someone who leads a charmed life, which happened with me when I discovered Franny, hang in there.